I'd like to welcome you to the November Golf Committee. First item on the agenda is approval of October 11th meeting minutes.
Let's do it.
Okay, second? Okay, thank you very much. Any changes, additions?
Oh, that's good.
If not, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, next item is golf facility review, if you have them. We will be suspending them until the first week in April when golf starts back up for the summer. But if you have them for this month or you have anything on your course, Dave, no?
Nothing on Kendrick. The only thing I wanted to say is, I told these guys, oh, you're talking to Dave Marks?
No, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Now that I'm vice chairman.
I don't have anything on the course report, but they mowed on the fourth green, or fairway between the black tees and the Highlands. They mowed down that grass, which is normally high. Take a look at that. It looks like a different golf course. Beautiful.
Where?
On the Highlands.
Which
Fourth
one?
hole from the black tees, where they always had the high grass in between the black tees and the blue tees.
I've never been back there. Thanks for letting me know.
It looks beautiful. I mean, I would love to see that at all times. It's fantastic.
Jim?
I don't have much. Country Club looks good. Played there today. It's really in good shape. Spent some time with Gavin. He said sales have been good. Everybody's happy. Play 18 again the way it's supposed to be played, so it's good.
Good. Kimberly?
Everything's great at Tanyard. Talked to Hannah, and she said that she is having a sale on Callaway and TaylorMade. If anybody's interested. That's it.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question about what's going on at the driving range? When do we close it down? When?
Well, she indicated it would be December, but that's what she believes.
Yeah, so we're getting some permits, waiting on the city. That's kind of where we are right now, but we're still looking, not end of November, middle to end of December is where we're looking. We're gonna keep it open, keep rolling through the sales, keep promoting stuff. We're still busy. When the weather's good, she's still doing lessons. I did a club fitting yesterday, and things are busy. So we're gonna keep going until we get the permits in hand, and then we'll start rolling. That's kind of where we are.
So as a sidelight to that old first tee area, we're gonna start to get that out of the way because we're gonna stockpile topsoil for the project starting now. And the reason we're doing it early is because where they get the topsoil, if it rains, they may not be able to get it to us. So we want it here, so when we start, we don't have any delays from that standpoint.
I'll just say from the membership that I've heard from, everybody's so fired up, so excited about the new driving range. So thanks to the POA board for voting that through. Thanks to everybody. I mean, that is going to just be one more thing that sets us apart as a community. That is just an absolute awesome asset. So thank you guys for doing all that.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, it just, unfortunately, we had hoped we wanted to start in November, but when the board approved it, based upon the board meeting calendar, compared to the permit process with the city, it didn't really work to our advantage. So the city they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're, in their regular schedule, but our schedule didn't really jive. So that's why we're looking probably at December, and we'll get to it. It'll happen.
Okay, Jerry?
Just a couple of things. I want to compliment Kyle for working through some things that I'd asked him about. The holes in front of 18 that are along the rocks there in front of 18 green. There's I think 15 or 18 holes. He's got those all filled in, and it's no longer dangerous for anyone walking along there and fall in one of those holes, because I've done it, and probably most of you have, or at least nearly stepped in one at one time. And he's got all those cleaned up, and he's working on some water leaks and things that some of them will go in the wintertime, I'm sure, but when they get closed down on the greens. But he's doing an excellent job out there.
Jerry, I want to thank you and Kyle both for getting the fountain working again on the 18th.
Yeah, right there.
Thank you. That adds so much ambiance and everything to that. And when you're sitting on that deck and you see the fountain going, and so thank you guys for that effort. Thanks.
Hey, Brian?
Not much to report on Dogwood and Brittany. everything looks good. They're working hard to try to keep the leaves and stuff blown off, so people can enjoy these few days of great weather we've been having. But other than that, just status quo, not a lot to report right now.
Okay, so we are suspending reports until we'll have the next one in April.
Ruth, one more thing I would say is, thanks to the grounds crew, the fairways are at a perfect length, the roughs are at a perfect length for the winter. It's playable, it's good, don't mow them anymore. I was just talking to Keith, and he said, the mowing that you see is just to mulch leaves, which is fine. They're not taking any more length off the grass. So any golfers who say, hey, what's going on? Why are they mowing the fairways? Or they're not. They're not making them any shorter. So don't panic. It's all just about leaves and everything, and they're doing a great job. So thanks, guys. I mean, courses are in phenomenal shape, even for winter kill and all, dormancy and all that. So it's awesome.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on reports? If not, we'll move into Keith.
Okay, well, it's kind of fun going after that, so I'm gonna pass that along to all the rest of my superintendents that aren't here, and you, Kyle, as well. It's always good to be recognized for their hard work, because they do work hard, and we've had our challenges this year, but as we've done every year, we keep moving forward and work through them, as all the departments do. So thank you for those comments, first of all. Projects, we had a truck last year get on one of the tees on 15, if you remember. Well, we just completed that work, and we had insurance money to pay for that. So we did the back tee, and then we went ahead and redid the red tee, which didn't get damaged by the truck, but every year it froze, and we replanted it because it was not built as good as I think it should have been. So we took it down a little bit, put some good soil in there, like we did the tees at Highlands last year. I think it'll make it through the winter. We won't be doing that every year. And it's bigger, and it's safer for our mowers as well. So I think it's a positive. So we got that completed. All my capital projects are done. The only last two that got finished were the asphalt work at Highlands. I think Greg still has a little dirt and a little sod he's gonna put along a couple of those areas, but the contractor's completed. And then for all of you people who wanna go buy flowers at the village wastewater next year, that road is smooth now, so you'll be able to go through there and not have to get new set of teeth when you get done. So that's done. I'm working with the contractor right now, speaking of tenure, to get the contract in place. We have 99% of all the details worked out. It's just a matter of when we want to start, and I don't want to get a contract signed until we know when we can start. But he was tentatively scheduled to come around January 15th. Even if it was as late as February 15th, we have plenty of window to get that area out and the driving range done in time to plan. So I have no concerns whatsoever. That's why we're getting the dirt in there for out there. So that would be the only thing that could hold us up if we couldn't get it out of the pit. Kirk Allman helped me find that soil. A couple projects going on in the local area. We got it for less than what the original bid was, so we have a little bit of room to work with there if we need some more in some areas that maybe we planned on. So I feel really good where we sit with that. Practice tee at the Highlands, and he may talk about that on the back of the tee. Tom and Daryl said we needed to get something built back there to do lessons on that could not interfere with this very small space we have on the other end. So Kirk's crew, again, because they're really good operators, they helped us build a tee back there. We've sodded it. I don't think we'll be getting on it this fall unless we do some mats back there. I'll let Daryl speak to that, but we'll be ready to go come spring, so it'll be a good location back there. And I want to compliment Greg too, as now you've got some dormant, you can see those bullseyes. He really has made that range look really good. So he's worried about it, how all those people are going to get on those tees, but I know golf shop's going to help us work through that on the mat. So, but he had a little fun with that, and it's always good that when Greg has fun, then we all have fun. Going to be discussing some options next week with the Friends of the Highlands. Speaking of the driving range tee, it's so congested there. So we're going to get together out there and look at some options, and maybe do better cart flow and or parking, that they may want to fund that if we can make it work. So that's coming next week or two. We'll have some ideas, probably bring it back to the next meeting here to talk about before we do anything, would be my guess. So that's kind of that. Now, talk a little bit about the work we're ongoing. I'm glad you mentioned it. We don't take those mulching decks even out on the fairways. We blow everything off. So that's what we're doing in the rough and around, because it does suck a little bit of the of the thatch up, and we want to keep as much as we can. You know, this year is going to be, to get that dormant this early, the cart traffic is going to start showing up sooner than it typically does. So anything this group can do to help promote this 90-degree or drive in the rough or any of those things we're going to talk about later would be greatly appreciated to get us into February and March, because not only does the winter come earlier, we had an additional 30,000 rounds this year too, you got to remember that. So we put a lot of traffic on these golf courses. The other winter things we're doing, we removed the ice machines at the bathrooms so we could winterize them. You could have used them the last couple of days probably, but we had to get them out of there. Ongoing leaf removal, doing a lot of the fall cleanup in the no-mow areas that you mentioned. Those are areas on the back that we save some time mowing, so we let that grow up. It could be that we want to mow that full time. We just mow that with a brush hog 3 times a year. Something that's open for discussion next spring.
Yeah, because, I mean, take a look at it out there, that hole, it just looks completely different, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Big change.
I think his comment fit perfect, because I'm not sure how many people we had that stand back there.
I tell you, that black tee on number 4, that's like a different hole.
It is a different hole.
It's a different hole.
Yeah, so, but it can be discussed next spring on what we're gonna do. All the no-mow areas on all the golf courses, Dogwood, Scottsdale, we've got those all mowed back down. Those are a 2 or 3 time a year deal. You do it in spring or fall, let it grow up and do it once in the summer. Scottsdale's a little different because we have to do it before July 4th because they park for fireworks out there. So that one's gets done one more time than, say, Dogwood, for example. So we've got that cleaned up. We had a couple more piles of gravel showed up down in Scottsdale because we kept cleaning that creek out. We got all that hauled out of there over to the fish ponds where they're gonna build some more. And we did something to try to keep that water from acting unusual because all the different ways that gravel settled. So we went in that creek while it was dry, which we could do, and just leveled all that gravel out. So a normal rain, the water's just gonna go through there like it should and maybe not cause us as much issue. And it looks a lot better. So we've got that done. And one of the other things we're doing now, because it's something we can do and doesn't cost us anything to do it other than utilizing our labor, we'll start cleaning around sprinkler heads because a lot of them have yardages. Typically, we'd like to do that all summer long, but we don't get to it all the time, so we're gonna relocate them. And the ones around the greens really make a difference because then when you're playing, you can kind of see them and you know they're in front of you. Sometimes when they grow over, you don't think about it and you don't move your ball, which you can, but you don't see it, and then you get some kind of funky bounce, and then nobody's real excited about that. So we're gonna try to get those done before the golf season starts back up. So it's an ongoing process. That's one of our winter projects, along with the next couple months burning piles and doing some of that winter type stuff. So that's my report of the golf course. So if anybody has any questions, I'd answer them now, and otherwise I have one other thing I will let everybody know.
I just want to ask about the tunnels.
Oh, yes.
On the country club, what's
Let me
going
give
on?
you the 340 update. It's a good one. You're gonna like it. So, it was supposed to be this week, probably gonna be next week now because of the rain, but the contractor, SAP, is gonna get the cart path repoured under the bridge that they replaced.
Okay.
And they're actually going further than I thought. They're gonna take it all the way to where our asphalt currently is and tie it in, so we won't have to spend any money on that. They have a little spur that was on their plan. They kind of went to the left. You know, there used to be a path that we used to go way up and around and come back to the tee. I have asked them to not do that because it's gonna make bikers think they can come down that and get in the wrong tunnel, or golfers get in the other tunnel. We will have to do some signage there, and I'm gonna suggest to the trail people, once that tunnel's open, you might be able to get a cart through there, but I don't think it might be a good idea to put a post in the middle, just so somebody doesn't try to drive through there and rip the roof off. Huh?
They try and avoid posts.
Okay, well then they may have to just signage.
Yeah, no, because people run it and they don't see the
That's
post,
true.
and then they run into the bollard and they get injured. So there used to be there used to be a number of posts along the Razorback Greenway, and the last couple times I've gone and riding, there's nothing there because people just don't see them.
Well, then I think golf ops and us need to get with them before it opens up on some proper signage for that area.
So Keith, just to be clear, we come off 5 and we go like we used to.
We will
Right
rotate.
under the, like right by the creek, and be right by the bridge. It won't be that tunnel that we see off to the left.
Tunnel off the
correct?
left's the bike tunnel.
That's about.
That's a bike tunnel, all right, well.
It'd be just like it used to be under the bridge.
Okay, so it'd be just like it was, perfect.
The only catch is when we get that open, we will have to reroute cart traffic for a period of time like we did originally, because they've got to take the excess tunnel on 8 to 9 off and finish that.
Okay,
And then once that's finished, then traffic will be
Then we're
like
back.
normal, and then I'll come back in the spring and rebuild the back tee to get the yardage we need and sod it, and we'll be back to.
okay, so then on 8, we won't have to do that backtracking again and do all that. It'll just be connected back from the 8th green back to that 8th
When everything is
tunnel,
finished.
when it's done. And
Yes.
when do you anticipate that?
Well, I would think we would have all that back in place before the first of the year. We won't have the grass replaced on 8th fairway, and we won't
Okay.
have the tee done until sometime in the spring.
Great. When's the other bridge gonna be done? You know that?
I don't know that. I see concrete going in there though, so that's a plus. Yeah, and then the other project here with the boring for the electric here at Bella Vista across there, they are finished. They're gonna fill the holes. We're gonna do the same thing there. We're gonna build the new tee back on 6 in January, February, and let it settle through the winter. But we're gonna fill those holes and let them settle through the winter. Then we will get sod and sod all of it at once. The sod for 6, we have been paid for that already. 2 years ago, we were paid for that. So it's been paid for at some point. And then the contractor here is gonna pay for our sod and stuff here. So if we do it all together, we can get one truck, we can get a better deal. So we'll sod all of it come spring. So they're done here though. They still have to fill the hole, get the piles out of there, but we're gonna mark it as ground under repair, rope it off, and let the winter settle it so we don't put sod in it, you know, how it does. So that's where we are on that. And then the last thing, I apologize a little bit, but I announced something at the board meeting a couple months ago, and then I would have announced it at last month's meeting, but today, 4 weeks ago, I was getting my knee operated on, so I wasn't here, so I really wasn't too concerned about any of that. But I have announced my retirement to be May 3rd of next year. So I'm gonna be moving on to a new job, which is called golf, fishing, and hunting, and sleeping in. That's my new job.
So, Keith, on behalf of our Golf Ops board, that is not acceptable. You are not allowed to retire, so, but thank you for your service.
However, it's one-
It's been fun.
Thanve you very much.
So-
You've made our courses so much better
Well,
in your years of service, and we thank you.
those guys have too, and thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. The support we've had over the years.
Anything else for Keith?
Let me jump in. So what we are doing is we've hired a professional consulting service called Dennehy. They will do the executive search to find Keith's replacement. We've already, their representative, Pat Finland, has already come out to our property, interviewed multiple staff members, toured the facility to get a sense of what they're looking for in a preferred candidate. And we have set up a search committee. That search committee will be made up of Tammy Lloyd, who's in charge of our HR department, Reed, Holly, Christy, our Hangelsky, which is Keith's assistant. Keith was gonna be on the search committee also. Someone by the name of Daryl, anybody heard of that person? I don't know. Daryl somewhere other. And Ruth is going to represent the golf committee on the search committee, and then myself. And so by having that many people on the search committee, we will have the candidates completely outnumbered. We're really looking forward to the process, and so the goal is to have the new person in place about a month before Keith heads off into the sunset. So we really appreciate everything that Keith has done over the last almost 10 years. And we also appreciate him giving us such advance notice. It allows us to really take our time and find the perfect candidate to fill very, very big shoes.
Hats off to Keith. Let's go.
You will be missed. Daryl?
Okay. Clear my throat, wipe the tears, let's get going. All right, first of all,
Over the top.
no, we work well together, and that's from my team to Keith as well. We work well together. I don't know how many phone calls we have a day between each other discussing it, and that'll be missed, so. But we gotta move forward, and he will enjoy his retirement. We'll still have the Aggie-Arkansas rivalry going, and it will continue to go. Let's take a quick look at my rounds for October. I pulled the report on 10/29. You'll see it's not the end of the month. We ran a software update, and I knew that was coming, so I pulled the rounds right before the software update, because when I got in on the Tuesday to pull it, I knew it would fail. So that's how it is, but we'll get that adjusted. But as you can see right now, October rounds finished at 17,000. Up by 121. Remember, that's still 3 days short of where everything was calculated. Year to date, we had 25,400 over last year. We're at 183,000 right now. That's phenomenal. I mean, it's crazy. Past last year's, past the years before, and year before, and year before, which is great. Somebody asked me the other day, I was out at a golf course and said, well, it's all guest rounds. I said, no, member rounds is going up equivalent to guest rounds. So golf is in a good place right now. And that's exciting. It's a busy month in October. The golf rounds reflected, except when we had that early freeze that came in. It was like, whoa, hang on now, what's going on? And that's impacted the fairways. I want to give a shout out again to my staff and the membership for supporting our pro shops. We had 154% of budget. A lot of that was the Kingswood sale. The old merch has been moving out of there, and that's huge, and that's great. There's still a little bit left. Just to make everybody aware, we have a grip it sale going on. So you'll get a low price on grips. You're allowed to stock up if you want to. You can go in there and get them for next year, because we will be closing that shop when it comes to the renovation as we move it into the new one. I was hoping to keep it open, but now we got to do the parking lot and everything. We're going to have to block that road off. So go down there and get your grips in. They're still open the regular time, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. You'll put it on, or you can purchase. We had a couple members that have got a certain grip they like, so they got their clubs done, and then they bought another 7 for the next year. So they'll have them with them, and they can do it themselves or get something. So the price is phenomenal. You don't get an extra discount on it. It is marked down to sell, and that's it. So no extra add-on discounts on that. Range buckets, 6,376. Up by 500 over last year, 530. Year to date, 72,000, up by 14,000. That just shows, I mean, the range is busy. I mean, our programs are phenomenal. The pros are busy, and that's kind of where it goes. So it's exciting. That's my report on that. I'm gonna go on to the thing I mentioned earlier, and that is the software update. If you haven't done it already, I want our membership to know the portal, the member portal has changed. It's going to be better. It is better for everybody. You can cancel, modify, invite friends to play tee times, all that type of stuff. If you haven't done it already, you go to the regular login where you were before. On the bottom right, it says there, member activation. You're going to have to reactivate your membership. Previously, you used to put BVV in your number. We don't do that, no BVV, just your number in there. And it's a new activation. Then it's going to attach a password or a number, and it's going to send it to the email that's linked to that account. And that's the big thing with people getting lost. That membership account has to have an email. It'll go to that, you open up, give you a number, you'll go back to that, put it in, and then you're active. And that's kind of how it works. We have had a couple of people that have had same email for husband and wife, and it doesn't work. You've got to each have your own email address, just like we did with the gin system. Trevor's phenomenal. He's working through it with people that are having some issues on the back end. Some emails weren't working, so we're going through that. So be patient as we get through it. There's a reason we did it this time of year. As it slows down, we can work with everybody and get through it. But once you get your member portal open, you get in there, it's phenomenal. You'll have a buddy list. You can create guys you play with all the time, and you can just send them emails. If you change and you add them to your tee time, it sends them an email reminding them. We actually had a person complaining, goes, I got the spam email from you. And we're like, what spam email? Well, it came from you saying I got a tee time. I don't have a tee time. Are you sure you don't have a tee time? Nope, I don't. It's wrong, dude. he calls back, I do, my buddy invited me to play golf, and I forgot, I said yes, sorry. So it's gonna work good as it comes, and this new system's gonna be good for our membership. So please be aware of that. On our update on the Golf Weekly update, it tells you point form on how to do it, but if you do have issues, reach out to Trevor and my staff, and they'll take good care of you. So that's really exciting, what's coming. And one thing I want to point out on Keith Steele too is Carts on Path. It's funny, I was just talking to some of my staff, and they go, man, what's this Carts on Path winter deal? This is crazy. I said, we've done it for 14, 15, 30 years. Every year we have Carts on Path through winter, all right? So we have different dates and different courses, and yes, it does impact some people and they get mad at us, but there's a reason we do it, is we try to look after the product that Keith provides us, but they moan now because everything's fine, but when it comes January, February, March, and when it's really dormant, they forget, but those same people moan, now it's too skinny, you know, it wears it out. So just be aware that we have Carts on Path going, and we do the best that we can to accommodate people to play at other places. The other thing that's very different this year, I'm being very transparent with everybody, we had the suspension policy in place. So we have already suspended a member that was warned and did it again. So it does happen. So this year there's weight behind it. If it's Carts on Path Day, please say Carts on Path. There's a reason we did this, to look after our fairways, our golf courses, that's all of yours. So just let your friends know that when it's Carts on Path, behave. That's all we ask. So that's kind of where that is. But it's a good thing. We have seen a lot of members abiding by it, and they're kind of scared, which is good. We don't have to police it as much, but if you see something, say something. That's all I got in my report, and that's kind of where it's at. Yes, Jim.
Can I ask you something about the golf rounds? And this was kind of brought to my attention. It seems like golf rounds are way up. Well, there's a lot of groups, organized groups, like today we played in a group. Is there any way to recognize the people that are organizing these groups? Because they got to be helping with getting our numbers up. You put their name in the golf email, or so is there something we could do for that?
I'm going to say our actual golf group numbers are going down.
Oh, really?
Yes, so our golf group numbers are going down, but our regular rounds are going up. As the membership changes to younger, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sundays are packed. And that's not when our golf groups play, is Saturday, Sunday. So that's where we've seen the biggest impact. I can tell you, because I've been around a while, 7 years ago, we had 148 golf groups in summer. We're barely over 100 right now. And that keeps coming down every year. Some of them are getting a little bigger, which is great, but the actual quantity, if you have a look, and Trevor and I were talking about this, he wasn't here, when on our 5 18-hole golf courses, we had 4 shotguns every day. Now we're down to 2. So as this goes, we are doing. So I appreciate it. I make jokes with the group leaders. When I retire, if ever I get the luckiness to retire, I'm not running a golf group. I'm just going to tell you, that is a thankless job. And the golf group leaders, I appreciate them. They're in my office talking to me all the time. What can we do? How can we do this? Why did you do that? I respect them. I appreciate them a lot. But Jim, that is the deal, and I appreciate that. But as the numbers you can see, and we can talk about that, we will be, now that Reardon Hall will be opening soon, we're looking at doing a group expo like we used to do. Yep, Bella Rec Center, sorry. I've been here too long, thank you. The Rec Center is gonna be opening. We will have a place to host an expo like we used to do for the groups, where everybody can come in and have the group book. So we'll get back to that a little bit, and that's gonna help. And that's really where we recognize the groups on that deal. Won't be sales or anything like we used to do back in the day, because we don't have merch anymore to give away, basically. Sell it for $1, it costs us 10. So it doesn't happen anymore, but this is gonna be for the group, and then I'll be talking to the group leaders about the changes and stuff that we're doing, and communication is where we'll get back to it. I'm looking forward to getting back to it, because that is what Better Vista is about, is the groups, and it's a special place because of it. So that's kind of where we are. Anything else?
One thing, mention that I've got a call from Member Services, and they're doing that right now, is checking to make sure that you are getting into the portal and all of that now. So So I appreciated that, that they're taking the time to do that. Just a random call, and yes, we're doing fine, and both my wife and I, of course, we had to do some adjusting because of the emails, the 2 different emails and so forth, but everything's going well, and they were checking on that, so I appreciate them doing that.
Well, good deal. Well, thank you.
Anything else for Carol? If not, Alex, do you have tournament updates?
A small one, yeah.
Okay.
So, as we wrap up 2023, we've got the Veterans Day event this Saturday at Kingswood. Got a full field for it, got 32 teams. Looks like it's gonna be a perfect day. It was weathered out last year, so we're looking forward to getting that one back on the calendar and having a nice day for it. Since our last meeting, the Futures Cup wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. Had 72 players in it. Looked like everything went well. Want to thank Dave Armstrong and Larry Apathy and Charlie Powell and all the guys that put that thing together and participated in the event. Makes a real big difference for what we can do with our junior golf programs and all the other golfer development things that we've got going on. And speaking of golfer development programs, all of our Operation 36 is wrapped up for 2023. We'll get back up on it sometime around March next year, so we're looking forward to that. What you got?
Alex, I'll just say thank you to you, to Daryl, to all your staff. Trevor was phenomenal for the Futures Cup this year. We had our best tournament ever. We had 72 guys, and I am happy to say we're going to be able to up our donation. Our donation over the last 2 years has been $5,000. We're going to be able to make that $6,000 this
Outstanding.
year. So that's going to go for Operation 36. Also, we're going to try, Daryl and I were discussing, we're going to try to help out the Gravette High School golf team. We're going to help with our junior programs that we do. But what you guys did for us, I think everybody that played in the Futures Cup, you don't have anything to do with the weather. The weather was phenomenal, but everything else was just first class. And
Thank you.
so thanks to all the courses, you know, to Kyle at Scottsdale, to Highlands, to Country Club. This is one of the coolest events, I think, on the calendar of the year.
Yeah.
And not because I'm sponsoring it, not because I'm involved, but it's just so fun to see guys out there in red shirts and blue shirts and red caps and blue caps, and Leslie, who helps us with our caps, and they look really great, helps us with our merchandise. Everything is first class, and I think every guy that plays in that is so proud to be able to give back to our community. And that's really what it came to, was 5 years ago when we started this. We were like, let's do something like a Ryder Cup format, but let's not just do it to where we win money. Let's do it to where we can give back to our community. And so I want to thank all the 72 guys that are involved in the Futures Cup to be able to just honor that tradition of giving back to our community. So I'm really proud of everybody that plays in that we're able to donate this year $6,000 towards junior golf, towards Operation 36, and to what we're doing in the community. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to you guys.
Thank you so much, Dave. We really appreciate it.
One correction that he made there, you know, not responsible for the weather. I am responsible for that weather. I get it on the other side, so I'm gonna take the good side.
All right, well, hey, we've been lucky, haven't we? 5 years in a row, we have had, okay, I don't want to jinx this, so I'm gonna knock on wood.
Hey, what team won?
The red team won.
They did.
So
It was very
the red
close.
team
It
won
was close. It was
this year.
within 1 point going into the last
After
day.
day one, it was the red team by 1. After day 2, it was the blue team by 1. And then the red team dominated day 3, the singles matches. And so it was a blast, right?
So we'll do the check presentation and the cup with the captains in one of the JSCs to come in the next couple months.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I had was the 2024 calendar still being worked on. Daryl and I and the rest of the golf staff are talking a lot of options and seeing what's going to make the most sense going into 2024. So more to come on the 2024 calendar.
Anything else for Alex? If not, Tom?
Big thing is tomorrow is the community presentation of the budget for '24. It is at 6 PM in the boardroom, so everybody's invited. Dave, I've asked Jessica to make one of those little reserved signs for the seat, so we'll make sure you got a good seat for the meeting, you know.
Thank you very much. I
It's such
appreciate
a
that.
riveting meeting.
All right.
So
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
see
sure
there.
it
You
is.
know, might have to get there early to get a seat, Dave, but we're gonna reserve one for you.
Okay.
But in all fun, you know, it's important that we have a good budget, and the team did a really good job putting it together. Not as many capital projects because we're doing Tandy Creek and Kingsdale, and so there's, you know, that consumed a lot of our funds, so we don't have a lot of other stuff going on, but real good budget should put us in a good position for the coming year. So you're welcome to watch. We'll live stream it also, so if you want to watch from home, you're welcome to do so.
Anything for Tom?
Do you have any update on the rec? Do you know when it might open or what's going on?
Yes.
Are you sharing it? Are you sharing it?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Soon, but they're, right now what they're doing is there's the little stuff that can take way longer than you anticipate. They're putting equipment together, they're doing, you know, the cable connections to make sure all the TVs are going, all that little stuff that can delay. It's really soon. We've said that middle of this month, and we're very comfortable that it's gonna be the middle of this month, but it's just, you'll see an email coming out fairly soon, but you know, it's just that little stuff that just drives you crazy, that takes a lot longer than you think, and we don't want to be in a position where we open and we don't have all the equipment together. So.
No, the rumor is that may be open more than just 6 AM to whatever. Is that true, or
So
what's going on?
come first of the year, the gym section will be 24-hour. So if you want to work out at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's when I usually do. That's my jam.
Absolutely,
you
yeah,
know,
I'm
that's
usually 2
my
o'clock
jam.
in the morning person.
Yeah.
But you're going to be able to do that. We'll have a card swipe system. You'll have to actually register to get the card so that we know, you know, who it's attached to. So if someone goes in and checks in, it's going to say, you know, Dave Armstrong, and we're going to have a camera right there. So if Dave does anything foolish there, we're gonna know. You won't be able to get into the rest of the facility. It'll just be the gym area
Perfect.
only.
Yeah, perfect.
So, and that's gonna meet some of the needs of our membership. The challenge that we have is people will come to us and say, well, you know, because of my work schedule, I wish you were open to 9 or 10 o'clock. And then we've done that, and then we track how many people actually come in to use the facility at 7, 8, 9 is like 2, 1, 0.
Right.
And then we have someone standing there the whole time, and that's not a good use of membership funds to just have them stand there and nobody uses it. So this is gonna be a great way that once we close, now if we're open, if the whole facility is open, you'll check in with the counter. But if it's closed, then you'll go into the left side, you'll check in, using a key card and so forth. So it's an experiment. Hopefully, I mean, gyms have done this for years and years, but for us, it's a brand new thing. And so we're just hoping that we don't regret it and someone go in there and do something stupid, cause a lot of damage and so forth. So
Tom,
that's
it's
why
exciting.
we're not gonna give you a card,
Yeah.
Dave.
No. Well, I don't work out anyway, so, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, we know that.
You know, yeah, you realize that. But thanks, I mean, gosh, it's just one more thing that makes Bella Vista the best place in the world to
Yeah,
live.
it's
awesome.
and go, one other thing about what makes Bella Vista great, go take a look at that tree house that just opened on Friday behind Casey's. That is amazing. They didn't have that stuff when I was a kid, that's for sure. That's a pretty cool way to have a lot of fun.
And have you seen how packed that's been? I mean, that parking lot is jammed, and the families are loving it. I think that's so cool. That's so
great
cool.
thing. So, wonderful place to live.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Okay, board. Anybody? Jeff? Nobody? Do we have any emails or anything of the nature? Okay, Kyle, do you have anything you'd like to visit with us about? If not, let's move on to new business. Mr. Armstrong, you suggested we discuss options for keeping the fairway safe during the wintertime.
It's our feeling, and Jerry and I know Jim agree with me that I plan their golf groups. We want to do the best we can to help Keith and his staff and Kyle and everybody to do the best we can. And I will be the first to admit, I came up last year along with Gary of the Champions Club. It didn't work, all right? Let's just admit it. It didn't work. It's not feasible, especially for groups, because you don't know, you pair guys together and then one guy's in the Champions Club, the other guy's not in the Champions Club, so who gets to drive out on the fairway, who doesn't? So I'm just open for discussion, like how can we do this? Maybe it's just, more than anything else, we really enforce the 90-degree rule, where, you know, let's just keep it to that, because I noticed still, even today, I was watching guys as they were driving out, and they get off that tee box and they go right down the center of the fairway and they do it. So maybe we just need to, I don't know how we enforce it, I don't know how we patrol it or anything, but if we just talk to our membership about, look, do the best you can, because our fairways this last year were in the best condition of all time. So what can we do? I mean, I'm going to open it up for discussion. What else can we do besides a 90-degree rule? Can we just make it to where if you don't have to drive in the fairway, just stay in the rough, you know, do that. Where you have to walk 15 yards out to your ball in the fairway, it's okay, you know, you don't have to do that. And maybe we honor handicap flags. We make sure that those who are handicapped, you can drive to your ball, that's fine. But again, honor the 90-degree rule. Anybody else have any other suggestions?
Before we go to discuss, do you want to brief us as to what we stand right now as far as the policy for wintertime?
So the policy, we have this session of Carts on Path for the next month and a half. Then we go to normal, and then we'll have another one in February where each course is off for 2 weeks. We do put out the 90-degree, thanks to our friend Charlie Powell came up with a simple drawing. We put it in the carts, we promote it everywhere we can. We did do the Champions Club, which had 23 people last year. That was it. But to enforce the 90-degree rules, it's almost impossible. I watch them, I talk to them. You can't do anything because people are like, well, I gotta go there. When people get in a golf cart, they just go wherever. I like the rough deal. We want them to stay in the rough. When I play on the weekends with the family, when I do get to play, I don't play much during winter, I'll keep the golf cart in the rough and walk out 20 places, hit my ball and go back, get in the cart and carry on. It's good fitness, it's a good workout when it's cold. I think just communicating with the membership, please help, it's your fairways, and everybody just talk, just like we did with the repair tools. If we just communicate, keep talking, keep doing anything, maybe I should do a video of me being goofy in a golf cart and driving around and saying this is not allowed, let's do this, and we can throw that up there with the marketing team. Maybe that will help.
Is there any way, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but is there any way, like most of the cart paths are on the right side, right? And you drive down, okay, and then you drive down the rough on that side, and then you get back to the cart path. But is there any way to help those people that are on the left side to be able to cut in front of the tee box, drive down the left rough, and then come back past, you know, where the fairway ends before the green? Is there any way we could do that on these courses to where we encourage our members to drive in the rough as much as you can, stay off the fairway if you can, and walk 15 yards to your ball?
So that's good, because they have what they call gate systems at some of the other golf courses, and it's kind of what you're saying. Now in front of the tee boxes, you can, after the red tee box, you can go across this rough if it's not slopey for safety reasons, you can get across to that side.
Right.
They're coming back, most of our fairways go right the way up to our green.
Yeah.
I want to stay away, there's 30 yards, so I would just say be smart when you're heading back to the cart path, go where there's less wear. And you can have a look around golf courses. I'm just going to take Highlands for instance, because we talked about hole number 4. It's got the 2 mounds on the left, and you can just see where the traffic follows the same tracks every time. It's like they're going and they're going back to the cart path, and they're going, and they can go straight where there's no path, with tracks, but the tracks go that way because 15 other cars did, and then off they go and they follow it around. So just be aware, drive where there's no padded down. I mean, that's just awareness. It's hard to control, it really is. I mean, I reached down the road and I asked, what do you all do? Because I knew this was coming up. And down the road at two of the private places, they say we got carts on path from September 1st to April 1st.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, no, we'll be in trouble. So we're not gonna do that, but that's what they did. But long story long, I mean, it's just awareness, bringing it to the membership. I'll do a video and we can throw it out there and we have some fun with it.
Let's do that. Can we do this? Can we encourage all the group leaders, right? We can't patrol the weekends because the weekends are the weekends. But can we, all these groups that we have, can we have the group leaders put out a memo? I know Charlie Powell put out a memo to the WIMPs today to try to protect. Yeah, and well, and if you ask Charlie to do one, he'll do 7. But if we could just encourage our group leaders to encourage their members to respect our fairways. And that's all we're talking about here is the less traffic, right? Am I right?
It's all about traffic.
So the less traffic we have, the better. So if you're able-bodied and you can walk a little bit, great, walk a little bit, and don't drive all the way down the middle of the fairway. Do the 90-degree rule, respect that. Respect driving in the rough if you can, and walking 10, 15 yards to your ball in the fairway. Whatever we can all do, you know, I think it will help. And again, I wish the Champions thing had worked, but I understand it. From a logistical standpoint, it doesn't work. And so I'll fall on the sword there and say that was a dumb idea. But let's try to do some other things that really help our guys that work so hard in our maintenance to help them keep these courses in the condition they were in this last year, which, golly, we were like country club conditions for public course fees, right? I mean, we had public course fees and country club conditions. So again, hats off to all you guys for doing all that. So whatever we can do in the wintertime, great.
Suggestions? Things you've seen elsewhere?
One of the things that we can do as a group, and I have a smaller group, 5 tee times, but we can talk amongst ourselves pretty easy with that smaller group. But you know, they just need to continue. If it's irritating, it's fine. Send out those memos. When we meet before we start. Everybody's standing around the putting green. Hey, remind you, stay off the fairways with the cart. The other thing that we do in the wintertime is in the groups that I play in, we encourage to go ahead and use a mat to save the fairways. That, again, that's the fairways. We use that mat. Some groups maybe think that's cheating or whatever, I don't know. But we do it because of that. And that keeps that big divot from having to not get filled or, you know, not doing it correctly or whatever. But I think those things, we just got to do it.
Keith, is it still important to fill the divots in the wintertime? Because a lot of guys just say, oh, you know what, it's not going to grow back anyway.
Well, no, if you don't fill it now, when it starts growing in the spring, it's going to grow on level. And then they definitely will never be addressed. So yes.
So let's, again, when we send out that memo for group leaders, let's make sure everybody remembers to fill the divots, fill the divots.
Use a mat when you can.
Other comments? So communication appears to be number 1. Number 2 is driving the rough. Be aware of where you are or where you shouldn't be. Anything else? Okay, moving along. Okay,
Thank you for going to this trouble and talking about it, because it's a big frustration for the guys that are working on the golf courses every day too, because they want to provide you a good product, and they know when March 1 gets here, if we don't do this, people are a little bit unhappy sometimes.
Okay, the other issue that I want to bring up is we usually take the month of January off because there isn't a lot going on in the month of January. So meeting doesn't seem to be of high importance. Let's talk about December. Do we have anything next month that we have coming up that we need to be aware of? It's a short month with holidays and people traveling.
We can skip till February.
Guys, do we have anything that you need to be aware of, or?
Well, then, if we do skip, not on my side, tournaments are over, everything's done to go, we're just getting by, then we'll kick the Futures Cup down till February to announce it for the beginning of the year.
We'll get you the money for next year to help fund everything, so.
Okay,
yep.
so
That's good.
check presentation, they will have
In
the
February.
They will have the new schedules out, tournament schedules out in February.
Yep. And we'll let Larry Apathy come in and brag about how the red team won again.
Well, that's good, as long as they keep winning and keep promoting. So we'll do that in February, so we don't have anything in particular that we have to meet next month for. I'm not a one that likes to meet for the sake of meeting.
Happy holidays, everybody.
The only issue is we report to the board next Thursday. They move up a week. So, yeah, so if you get it to me by Thursday.
All right, I'm gonna object. Everybody wants to see Keith in December and January, so we got.
You cut my meetings in half right there.
No, and actually, that'll actually give me time to get a report back on Tanya Creek and Kingswood as we're getting closer, so that'd probably be good too.
Well, I think that having substance when you meet is more important than meeting. Announcements, I'm going to encourage everybody, if you don't care to show up tomorrow night to the board for the budget meeting, please watch it. It's important that you know what's being funded and how the budget's being presented, because this is going to be an unusual year with the two major projects coming up and some things that perhaps that you think should have been high priority, the board has felt differently on. So be sure you watch it. It's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It will be televised if you don't want to beat the crowd and Dave's group coming in. So you'll have to go from there. Well, if we're picking on Dave, we're leaving somebody else alone. It's usually me, so I'm happy to do it. Next regular meeting then won't be until February, and I'd have to check on the date, 14th? Oh, you're gonna have to remember your Valentine before the meeting, so. Whoa, yes.
Is there a link to the website where we can watch the meeting tomorrow night, or how do we get on to watch it?
Go on our website, on the top right corner, you can see
Videos or Facebook.
live stream, it will say on the top right corner.
On the POA website?
Yeah,
Okay.
website, yeah, and it's live. And if you don't happen to catch it live, you can catch it anytime after that. But please watch it, it's important that you do. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to call Tom, so. Is that fair? Is that fair? Okay, other than that, anything else for the good of the cause? If not, we stand adjourned.